Okay, we've got a couple of voice notes. Let's play them, Linda.
We appreciate. No, really, thank you for having the busiest sporting director in the continent and the best marketing manager, if not the world, then content Jessica and Kaizer. And we just want to say that we appreciate the ground that we are covering. It really melts some of us hearts to see that you want to change the fortunes of the team, and we wish you nothing but the best. And then 14 September, 3 points or nothing. Thank you.
In that heartbreak. Good evening, member, your guests, your team, and my fellow listeners. I just want to pose a question to ask Jessica. Why is Chiefs not having a third kit? Last time we had a third kit was now in that heartbreak season where we lost the league in the dying minutes, last 15 minutes. But I've realized that they do not have the alternative order from Ikorling, Lisi.
Thank Good evening. Kaizer Chiefs management. I'd just like to ask, on the goalkeeping department, you can't boast a little bit, man. I'm not that satisfied with that 3 guys that are really high. At least maybe if you can promote someone from development or maybe get someone experienced from outside.
Okay, thanks for those. Maybe let's start with the one about the third kit, Jess.
No, we've had a third kit in the past when we had our 50th anniversary, when we've had our unique celebratory kits that we put out. But certainly from a league point of view, all clubs register 2 kits. It's not customary for clubs to have 3 kits in South Africa unless it's exceptional.
Okay. And then SD, before we get into the other questions, there was a question before the break about, I don't know who answers this, about why does the club not talk when things are not going well, like last season. We were requesting interviews and there was no one available to talk.
I think it's not a case of not wanting to talk. I think last year we were using the year to really look at ourselves. I think the one caller, asked, do we go home and look at ourselves? Essentially, that's what we were doing last year. As an institution, we're looking at ourselves to say, here we've gone wrong, what can we rectify? So I wouldn't say it's a case of us not coming to talk. It's more about your actions speak louder than words. And we looked and we saw what are the challenges from a technical perspective, from a player personnel perspective, and I said, okay, let's put the groundwork and do the work. But obviously we need to connect to our supporters. We want to always be there, and I think most of the time we are always there. And I think last year was a year of a lot of lessons for all of us, and something that we also don't want to repeat. But we have always made sure that we are available to the supporters. Like you said, they even came to the village, came with a memorandum. So we always promise to make sure that we are always open. We're always here to account, and we'll never shy away from our responsibility.
And I think Tabiso, we have come and we've had some hard conversations. It hasn't been easy, but I think also you've got to come and have those conversations with substance. And sometimes also, like Kaizer says, you need to step back and assess where you are. You can come in and just talk and talk. We also need to come in and have substance in what we say.
Yeah, I've got to give shout out to Vina Maposa. He's always available to talk. He'll check first, but he'll always come and take the call, whether it's good or it's bad. But let's talk about some of the big acquisitions. Now, Njabulo Blom is back. I had just talked about him on Morning Live this morning. But how did that one come about? Did he ask to come back? Were you monitoring his situation?
So we've always been monitoring Njabulo, even before the situation he's currently had. We've been very clear from the coaching's perspective to see what are the areas and what are the positions that we want to look at, and a 6 of his profile has definitely been on our radar since the preseason began. So he wasn't the only player in that position that we had been monitoring. I think that we're just very happy to be able to make that deal happen. I think he's a person who understands exactly what we need in that role. I think his profile is really, really well suited to how Coach Nabi wants to set up. From his character, from his playing, from his attitude, I think that we've got a very, very important person in Njabulo.
So does the coach tell you the kind of player that he's looking for? I'm not sure how much of Njabulo he would have known, and then you tell him that you've got the perfect player or you found the perfect player.
definitely. I mean, the coach is very clear in the attributes that he's looking for. He's very clear in the game model. The game model presentation to the whole club was very clear, and that forms the basis to say, okay, I mean, recruitment needs to be done based on certain key elements, you know, and that's why there've been many other options in that role, but you know, the coach is very specific in what he needs, you know, so that forms the basis, and of course then you go out and see what does the market hold, who do we have on our radar, and who do we think we would fit that profile.
Yeah, and he did say at the launch of the Betway Premiership that he's still looking for a striker, and we believe there was an opportunity to sign a Khanyisa Mayo. The agent was actually on the show a couple of weeks ago, Bashir Michaels. Why did that deal not go through? Or was the serious interest? How serious was the interest in Mayo?
Definitely serious interest. I think I also must credit Bashir for how professional she handled the whole situation, how transparent she was also. And also at the same time, I just thank Mr. John Comitis because we had known from a couple of months already about the kind of price tag that was on Mayo's head, if you will. And obviously we'd gone back and assessed and looked at what's viable, does he fit into the squad, and to be very honest, that was one of the names that was on the coach's list when the Turkey camp began. So we'd been working in the back end to see how we can make it possible. We had engaged John. John also was very upfront about what they expected. Obviously when Bastia came into the picture, we made our intentions known. And I think we did dismiss it just by, I think it was a couple of hours, because when we had reverted back and finally be able to understand the way forward to make the deal happen financially, I think the deal in Algeria had just been signed.
And you met their asking price?
We met the asking price.
And you think it was reasonable?
I think for a player of Mayo's caliber, the DNA that he holds, I mean, with that surname, I think the profile and how we wanted to set up, I think he's definitely a player that would have made a big impact. And of course, you know, when the value is there, you must return that and pay the right amount. And of course, if you had to ask me, is it the right value? You know, that's the market to decide. But we made the price, and we made sure that we wanted to go all out and support the coach, because the coach is very clear about the kind of quality that he wants.
And I think it's also nice when you get a player who wants to play for you.
Yeah.
And he really did want to play for us, you know. But unfortunately, I think also they had a vision to have him play overseas.
Yeah, which is also one of the things that the agent did say, and
you know?
John did say when he was on the show that the first option for them, or the first priority, is for him to move him overseas at this age of his career. We'll wrap up.